7:30.
Oh.
I want to come all the way up here if it was down at 8. Like now, I mean. Hi, everyone. Oh, look how nice the camera quality is. Getting all the stuff out of the way before I start answering questions. If you're in need of any of my help whatsoever, check the links that are attached in the pinned comment to take you to my website. Not last stream, but the stream before, we had some really big donations. And one of the people who did donate to us said to us that it's lovely that they can donate and all that, but basically YouTube does take 30% of the donations done in this super chat. And they recommended that I put my links to my PayPal or to places where you guys can donate. So there is no obligation to donate whatsoever. However, if you wish to donate, the links to my PayPal and my Cash App are also in the pinned comment, just to save you guys losing 30% of your money to YouTube, because obviously you're there to support me. And if you want to support YouTube, then great. But yeah, YouTube obviously takes a chunk. So there's just a way to get around it. With all that said, let's get into this live stream. So Connor Chadwick says hello. Hello, Connor. How are you? Priyal says hey. Cinnamon Cheesecake says love to see you all both here. Thank you very much.
Hi.
Katie's not feeling too good right now. She's a bit icky because, well, obviously, as you know, we've been ill for a little while now, and we've just had like a really long day down at the beach and arcade and roller coasters and stuff. So it's kind of been taken out of her. Jordan Strang. Oh, Roger Fedon says, hey, ma'am. Howdy, Roger. How's it going? Jordan Strang says, hey, you two. Also, thanks, Katie, for the follow on Instagram. Yeah, howdy, Jordan. Kent Clark says, hey, guys. Hey, Kent Clark, how you going? How you doing, even? Let me just put really quick that we are live on Instagram.
I'm just going to move. We're not in our normal settings.
Yes.
We are visiting family.
Yeah, we are at my mother's right now. So
I think I've sunburnt my head again.
We're at my mum's right now, so we need to we've secluded ourselves to her room. You can probably hear the kids in the other room because they're still not asleep yet, because they're little buggers, and my sisters are probably in the other rooms as well. AH says, hello, what a beautiful couple. I was wondering how to manifest an SP when it is cultural differences. Family has a different religion. We are in no contact. So the religion side of everything is all just a circumstance that you are getting in your own way. Nothing can stop you from having what it is that you want to have. The cultural side will just be something that you're letting be a circumstance. So the way that I would recommend going about that, sorry if you notice I keep looking down on my phone, is because I'm trying to post the thing saying that we're live. Once that's done, I'll obviously be looking straight on. But the way that you get past that is you get deeply clear on what it is that you want. So obviously you want NSP, blah, 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 and you're assuming that those circumstances get in the way. So instead of focusing on the problem, you get deeply clear on what the solution is, which is you guys being together. There we go, that's posted. What kind of relationship do you have? How does it look? What's the dynamic? What is it that you want from this person? And then you create scenes that imply that this is the case. So it could be affirmations about like, I am in a loving, committed relationship with such and such, or visualizations of you doing things with such and such, or scripting. And then you just dwell in that. There is no need to change the cultural background and differences. There is no need to force contact. There's no need to make any of that happen, because whatever will happen that needs to happen, whatever needs to happen in order to get you from where you are now to being with this person will happen. I need to make sure that I posted that on the right Instagram. Yeah, I did. Will happen to get you there. That involves the cultural differences not becoming a problem, or the parents get on board with it, or whatever is getting in the way. Cultural and religious differences, sorry. And the no contact won't be a case anymore. You guys will end up in contact in some form or another, and it will get you from point A to point B. So get clear, create scenes that imply that it's already the end, and then redirect your focus back to those scenes. Feel into it, feel as though you're living in it right now, and just continue to redirect yourself back to this place. Cinnamon Cheesecake says, Katie, what and how were you feeling when Matt was manifesting you?
So I was just going about my normal sort of, well, I don't know. So I was very emotional because obviously we had like at that point splitting up sort of thing. So I was very emotional and everything like that. Sorry. Yeah, so I was just sort of going about my normal day. I was on my normal routine, like, I had the things I had to do and everything like that, and, it was just a standard day, and out of nowhere, I just knew exactly what it was that I needed to do, and that was to drive to his flat. So I got in the car and I just started driving there, and it was literally just like woke up, going about my normal day, and I just had like full on clarity sort of thing of this is what I'm gonna do, this is what needs to happen, and off I went. But in terms when it happened sort of thing, and I just had this I gotta do right now. So off I went and yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the connection's a bit unstable because there's so many people in this house, and we're on. My sister's now on the Xbox and everything, so it cut out briefly there. I think hopefully it's all back up and running. But yeah, so that is how she was feeling. Crimson Music says, "Hey, hey, Crimson Music, how you
Hey.
doing?" Oh God, I skipped a bunch. Ira, sorry, I can't say that. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna say Ira. Um, hey, so I've been experiencing not much movement after lots of movement with my SP. I'm paying attention to the amount of time since I began affirming, and I just don't feel that general excitement that I used to, and I worry that may get in the way of me having my SP. Okay, so you say so. You haven't been experiencing as much movement after lots of movement. So this would obviously be. Can you go tell the kids that we're? Can you go sort them, please, quick? Um, Sorry, they're really off putting. So you're saying that you haven't noticed a lot of movement after having movement, which means that you were trying to replicate results as opposed to just living in the experience. You're stating to yourself that I need to continue to replicate results, and then because you haven't been experiencing them, you are therefore saying this isn't my reality. I don't have my person because I don't have the movement. So the first issue there is that you're identifying your situation to be true for you, the lack of movement to be true for you, which is the first thing that I would recommend stop doing. The second thing is I've been paying attention to the amount of time since I began affirming. So again, you're putting your focus on the time. You're sort of acknowledging I still don't have my desire. I still need to do it. I've been doing it for 3 months and I still don't have anything. That's what's happening when you're paying attention to the time, because I don't pay attention to the time where the time between it takes for me to get Katie, for example, because I already have Katie. There's no I wonder when she's coming in sort of thing because she's already here. So by saying that you've been paying attention to of the amount of time since you began affirming and you just don't feel that general excitement, maybe the time thing is causing you a problem by looking at time, and that could potentially be why you don't have the movement that you had before. As for like general excitement,
Oh, fell over.
um,
Sorry.
you don't. The thing is the longer you've been doing something, and the more that you begin to impress your submind, the less excitement comes naturally anyway. It's like think of it like the honeymoon phase. When you're in a relationship and just first get into this relationship, it's all great, it's all exciting, you love it, you're all happy, blah blah blah. And then after a while, that part does die down and it becomes more natural. It becomes more of like, well, yes, we are just a couple. It's not like this, oh my God, they're amazing and they couldn't do anything wrong sort of thing. It's the same thing for this. Once you've been impressing yourself for long enough, and once you've been telling yourself that you do have this thing, the general excitement of having this thing will differ. It happens with everything. People that get a brand new phone, they're like, "Oh, look at my new phone! Look at my new phone!" After a week, it's like, "Oh, yeah, new phone." So so that could be why the general excitement has gone. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's because you've been doing something wrong. It could just be a case of you have been doing it right enough to the point where you don't feel the initial excitement as you used to. Um, and so that the excitement part won't get in the way. However, looking at time and trying to replicate movement or noticing that you don't have the same amount of movement you used to, that could potentially cause you problems. So try to just let go of those factors and instead just continue to live in the end and enjoy the fulfillment of having your desires. Um, Brielle says, something happened today. I didn't ever think of it. I'm like in tears right now, lol. But like, why? I was so good on my mental diet. I'm so scared. And if I want something to cancel, how do I do that? Okay, without more context, obviously it's very difficult for me to know exactly why it could have happened. There are a couple of reasons why things could potentially happen. A, it's old thoughts. So it could have been like, let's say it's a thought of bumping into someone that you really don't want to see. It could have been a case of you thinking about it sometime prior and it's impressed. And then now it's playing out now, even though your thoughts have been changed and you've been so good on your mental diet, it could have just been something that's happened then. For example, a tomato plant might take longer to grow than a banana tree, and that could be the difference here. Some things do play out quicker than others. So this could have been a seed that impressed a long time ago, i.e. the tomato plant, and then like the other things you might have been experiencing recently could have been the banana tree, just as an example. And that's why one thing is coming sooner. This thing doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. This thing doesn't mean that everything's down the drain. It just means that something in the past has impressed and is playing out now. To cancel it, you don't really cancel it. You can revise it so that things didn't happen the way in which things that happened in the way that you wanted it to, but you don't necessarily cancel it. You kind of just remove your attention from it, because where your focus goes, energy flows. So if you're focusing on this problem, even if it's to try and remove the problem, you are still placing focus on this thing in my reality exists, therefore I need to remove it. Instead, if you take your thoughts away from it entirely and place it on what you do want, that will inadvertently cancel out. So if it's a third party situation, for example, don't be trying to affirm third party's gone, third party, blah, 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 blah. Instead, just go me and my SP. Because in your reality where you are with your specific person, there is no room for a third party. If you're in a loving, passionate, committed relationship, those words in themselves state there is no third party without you putting your attention on it. So that's kind of how you deal with things that you don't want. You just remove your attention away and don't give it any energy. You just starve it of whatever it needs to stay around, and eventually things will happen. As for your mental diet, there's no reason to stop. Just because something bad might have happened, like I said, this could be an impression from something before. So there's no reason to stop the mental diet now just because something bad might have happened to you.
I love your analogies.
Thanks.
Banana
They make
tree.
sense though. Like it makes it clearer.
Yeah, no, I'm not
It is
saying
it is a
anything
tree,
bad
right?
about them.
Banana tree, right?
Yeah, they grow on trees.
Yeah, I thought so.
I think so. Do they?
I don't know.
Bananas.
If anyone knows, can you let us know? Missy B says, "Hi Matt and Katie. Is it just mine, or is Hi Matt and Katie. Is it just mine, or is anyone else seeing you guys all blurred? Are we blurred?
We might be blurred.
But we're well clear.
Let me look on my phone. I'm not on the internet, so I'm on my.
Okay.
Oh no, we are rather blurry. The blurriest of blurs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look. See.
On our
so blurry.
On our screen, we're like super clear.
Mine can't even load the live chat.
Oh, it could be the internet. We're obviously clear because of my webcam seeing us, but because we're on shitty internet. Okay, so it could possibly be because of the internet, because we're up north from where we are, which sucks for internet in general anyway. And we have poor internet where we are, so apologies. Hopefully it's not too much of a problem.
You just have to put up with us blurry.
Oh, that could have been the one that was poor connection, actually.
I don't know, because it's still showing blurry on mine.
Oh, yeah. I don't know then.
Who knows?
Well, hopefully it's not too much of a problem. We'll just try and get through. Cinnamon Cheesecake says, at Prial, it's normal, it's okay. Okay, that's cool. Jordan Strang says, been in and out, KF. Been in and out of the Sabbath state for the past few days, and it's a weird feeling. I don't really know what to say to that. I suppose just try and continue to do what you're doing in terms of living in the end, and the things that might be bringing you out of the Sabbath state, if you can A, identify them, and B, tackle them at the root, that should hopefully keep you in the Sabbath state for a longer period of time so far, or indefinitely until you get your desire. See if that works. Prial says, I'm like so worried. I've been reading this script since a month. Also, I had this assumption that this month it's going to be hard, really. So reassure me it's going to be okay. Manifesting is real. So weird. It is going to be okay. As long as you are doing the work, and as long as you aren't giving too much energy to the things you don't want, and as long as you're giving that energy instead to the things that you do want, it will be okay. It has no choice to. It is the law. Where your focus goes, energy flows. So even if it might take a month, 2 months, 3 months, because right now my life is probably the best that it's ever been. But obviously I've been doing this for an extended period of time now. So it's taken a while for me to get to here. Yes, my career might have improved a while ago. Yes, my business might be doing well now. And yes, my getting Katie and everything being sorted might have happened even before that. However, for my overall life to get to this point, it has taken a long time because a lot of things needed to be put in place to get there. So just because it hasn't worked in a month doesn't mean that it's not working. And if you're putting your attention in the right place, next month could be something better. The month after that could be even better. You don't know. But what you do know is that if you are placing your attention on positive things and the things that you want as though you're already living them, it has no choice but to play out. I have really itchy nose.
I've had an itchy nose all day.
But it will be okay. AH says, thank you so much for responding and answer. You beautifully put it, and thank you so much. His parents want me to marry if same background. So thank you for reminding me circumstances don't matter. You're very welcome. You'll have to come back with a success story soon, and I'm glad it helped. Cinnamon tea. So we got cinnamon cheesecake and cinnamon tea. Got a whole bloody tea pie. Gonna have cinnamon apples soon. It is cinnamon cheesecake, right? Did they change it? Are they cinnamon tea? It's a bit of biggest plot twist. Oh no, cinnamon cheesecake's there. Could you imagine? Just a big old plot twist.
Worried then.
Hi, Matt and Katie. I have a video request from Matt. What do you think about the working of law of assumption on larger collective scale, as in global events or events big enough to impact a significant chunk of people? How do you think law of assumption works as a chain reaction, given that everyone is the creator of their own reality? How does everyone's reality interact with each other on a larger scale? I'm super interested and wish you would explain it your way, in your own very own whiteboard and marker way. It's super helpful. Yes, I can add to the list. I'll give you like a brief explanation now.
I just thought.
Yeah, it's a good idea. So the what I believe, because everyone has their different things. Now, before I got into the law of assumption, I was always a big science lad. I didn't believe in any form of God. I couldn't even entertain the idea of astrology, which I still can't, and I stand by that. But anything that was spiritual, anything that was metaphysical, anything that wasn't science-based, I could not get involved in. So I've always believed in parallel realities. I just believe from a science perspective, it made sense. From the stuff that I had read about it, from the stuff that I'd watched videos about it, parallel realities made sense. Then came into the law of assumption, and obviously for me to be such a big science person, you probably understand how much I needed proof that this stuff worked before I believed in it. But this also involves parallel realities. So that's where my background thinking of it is. What I believe is that we are all the creators of our own realities, absolutely, but we are one shared consciousness. So what I believe, and this might not be what other people believe, and it might not be what you choose to believe, and if you don't resonate with it, that's absolutely fine. You can either go find someone else that you do resonate with, or have a think about it yourself and see what you like, because I know there's a couple of people that challenge what I believe in my comment sections, and we have discussions, and it's great. But I believe that we are one shared consciousness, which means in every single parallel reality is the exact same people. Now, the thing that's strange is what I believe is if you die, you die. So no matter, and this is why we can't bring people back. However, we can get specific people back, and we can do this because they are no longer linked consciousness with us. That's my thoughts. Okay, so I have my own reality. Katie has her own reality. You all have your own realities. We are all occupying the exact same reality in our own reality. So right now, you're all watching this live stream, and you are all operant powers of this live stream. However, you won't be able to make me do anything in my reality. So if you were on your side and you were to say, like, try and manifest me putting my right arm up, that would happen for you. But because you've jumped to a reality in which I put my right hand up, this version of me wouldn't be affected. You would be affecting a version of me in a different reality in which I was already going to do that. Does that make sense? You kind of hot realities. This is like the quantum jump, the quantum leap. Obviously, is probably a term you've probably heard. That's what I believe. I don't believe that we affect the people in the reality we are actually in. I believe there is infinite realities, and I believe that the one you're in this current moment is not the one you affect. I don't believe that you can change your reality. I believe that you jump to a different one. This is why I say you should never try and change the problem, but instead focus on the solution. Because to change the problem is to try and change the reality that you are in, as in change the actual reality itself, instead of quantum leaping or jumping over or switching realities into one which it's already changed / changing, if that makes sense. I hope that explanation makes sense. So from the whole idea of how do we work as a collective consciousness, that's what I believe. So I believe if I was to be manifesting, let's say, a certain president being in play, and like Katie started doing the same thing, you all started doing the same thing, we wouldn't be collectively changing this one. We would all be shifting into one. If that was to happen, for example, like that president comes into play, we would all be shifting into one in which he is or she is already becoming in play. Does that make sense? So that's how I don't feel like we collectively change the current reality. I believe we just shift over to another one in which we are all doing the same thing. And there'll be millions upon millions of realities in which we are all changing, but it will be different things happening. For example, let's say like you're the same president thing, but one of you or like a bunch of you are trying to manifest the same person, but they have a slightly different view. You will shift into reality where that's the case, but me and Katie will shift into the reality where it's just the same president or female president, male president with the view they originally had. Does that make sense? That's my take on it. And I will do a video with the whiteboard and see how it all goes. But that's my take on collective like consciousness. And as for larger things, nothing is too big. You know, for example, let's say that you're one of the people that wanted Andrew Tate banned and you were manifesting that. It happened, and I'm sure like it happened. So we must have had people that were focusing on that, you know, or had focused to some extent that it was the case. And I definitely was. I knew for a fact that I was focusing on him getting banned. Not getting banned as in I was trying to make him banned, but I knew the way that everything was going that he was going to be banned. And therefore, I am now occupying a reality in which he is banned. And any of you that were doing the same thing or had the same thoughts will be occupying the same reality. So that's my view on how to make the bigger things happen. I hope it makes sense. I will do a longer video. That was already quite a long explanation in itself.
Very long explanation.
But I hope it makes sense. And I hope you enjoyed the little mini science but not science lesson. Because none of it was actually backed by physical science and studies. The music say, hey, just want to say hi. Howdy, hope you're doing all right. Kiati said, message retracted. Cinnamon Tea says, how does it... Oh, we already answered that. Cinnamon cheesecake. Says, Tony, how much time or months it took for you to manifest Katie back, and how long were you separated in the 3D? So this is a question that I really don't like, and I know that like it's a fine question, like you can ask it. The reason I don't like it is because everyone's journey is different, and a lot of people always ask that for reassurance. And also, my manifestation was not for us to get back together, because I never ever focused on. Well, I did sometimes. I sort of did affirmations like, okay, so happy we're back together. But my main focus was us getting back together and being in this loving, committed relationship, which took longer than the actual get back. Because when we got back together, it was very uncomfortable. And there was a lot of things that we had to go through, as you can probably imagine. So my full manifestation of us being back together and happy, loving, and healthy actually took a lot longer than the original us getting back together. We weren't separated for too long, but it took probably, I'd say, a month, maybe a month and a half for us to actually get onto what my manifestation fully was, which was the loving, happy, committed relationship where we were on a better level. And as I say all the time, I focused on the complete end. I did very, very, very minimal on Katie and I being back together. And therefore, everything happened as it needed to happen to get us to that point. So I never like to go by the actual getting Katie back, because I think getting someone back is only half the battle. I think the other half is making sure that your self-concept doesn't get in the way and that you are living in the end of having a full, happy relationship. So I'd say the answer to your question is it took me about a month and a half to get my full manifestation, give or take. And we weren't separated for too long. Missy B says, sort of the connection now. Yeah, it must have just been like sisters on the Xbox or something. SR says, I've been trying to manifest friends since 2020 and still no luck. It depresses me so much. Okay, so to be fair, if you've been doing it for that long, then I can understand why you're sort of a bit disappointed. But if you can, try not to focus on the fact that it hasn't worked yet. Are you focusing? What exactly are you focusing on? Because obviously, you've just said I've been trying to manifest friends since then. There isn't much for me to go on with that. If you could give me a little bit more context on what you've been doing to manifest said friends and how your journey has been, then I might be able to answer you a little bit more. But again, same as the SPs, deeply clear on what you want these friends to be like, how you want your friendships to be, and all that. Create scenes that imply you already have these friends, you're already engaging in these social situations, and live in the end of these scenes and try not to accept that that isn't happening already. Kiati says, hello, hope you guys are doing well. I'm finally getting positive changes in my 3D, and building a strong self-concept is making it easier. Thanks a lot. You're very welcome. And I'm glad that you're having successes. That's great to hear. Phantom Geek says, wait, oh my God, you're live now. We are indeed. I'm in the middle of my massive rewatch of all your content for the giveaway, lol. Yeah, I noticed you were commenting a few things. Mentioning the giveaway, if you are interested in being entered in a giveaway in which you can, oh, you are, in which you can earn or receive, I don't know what the term would be for a prize, win, in which you can win 3 days free email coaching, access to the group Zoom call, or a £10 Amazon voucher. There are 3 of each, so 9 prizes in total. Add on the end of your comment CFC, which stands for commenting for competition. This will then allow you to be entered into the competition, which we will be doing on our 3-hour live stream, where we will be doing once we hit 3K. We have quite a lot of entrants, a lot more than I thought. Considering we only have 3,000 subscribers, I thought the entrants were going to be quite low. We have a lot of people. The more unique videos or the more different videos that you comment on with CFC at the end of your comment, the more entries you will receive. So if you really wanted to, you could go back and comment on every single video and earn yourself 100 and something entries.
The one thing that sorry, can I add something?
Yeah, you were going to say something.
Okay, so the one thing that we have decided is all of your entries go into a basket kind of thing. We'll pull it out live. But so there's 3 different prizes, so you can only win one of each of those, if that makes sense. So if we pull your name out twice for the same prize, we'll pop you back in and then you'll come out for the next prize.
Yeah. Well, possibly. Not guaranteed that you'll come out for the next one, because obviously it's random, but yeah.
But if you manifest, you will, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, if you're super good at it. But yeah, so that's how you get entered into the giveaway. There is a community tab message where it will give you more details. Get involved as much as you like. You can have as many entrants, and to be honest, be greedy. If you really want to win, comment in as many videos, and the comments themselves help the algorithm, which helps my channel. So it's like a massive you help me, I help you kind of thing. So
if you comment loads as well, it can be next weekend.
Yeah, it's looking likely to be next weekend anyway, because we earn, I think, like 30 subscribers nearly since yesterday morning, and we only need about 70 more until we get to, or give or take, I don't know the exact numbers, but 70 more. So it should be next weekend, assuming everything goes well. Phantom Geek says only 8 minutes behind, not too shabby. Yeah, to be fair, you caught up quite well. Ira says
we're really behind then.
Yeah. Ira says, "Oh my God, you're the best. Thank you for that. You are very welcome." And Fandom Geek says, "Thanks for responding to my comment." Oh yeah, I respond to every single comment. So I haven't responded to these ones so far, just because obviously I've been in the stream. But I will make sure that I respond to every single comment. The only comments I haven't responded to are ones where they are being held for review. So if you've commented and it's been more than a day and I haven't responded, it's not my fault. It's because YouTube has held your comment for review, and I'm waiting for it to come through. I don't know why it does that, but so yeah.
Maybe you swore.
Maybe that's possible. Priyal says, "I meant if I want to cancel an event happening for someone. Also, do all old thoughts process, because that's scary." Oh, you mean cancel an event? I mean, again, it's one of those things where if it's something in the 3D that you don't want, you take your attention away from it and instead put your answer on the opposite. So if it's your SP marrying someone, you wouldn't say, "Oh, they didn't marry them." You would again just focus on the idea of you being with your SP, because there's no room for that marriage to happen if you're with them, or there's no room for that marriage to stay if you're with them.
Or if it's like an activity that they're going to do, a good thing to do would be to, think about the fact that they were with you on that day.
That's also
therefore they can't be at that activity.
That would be kind of a form of revision, I suppose.
Well, no, because it's still got to be. I'm talking about. You'd think about them being with you that day, as in like before.
Oh, I see. Yeah, prior. Yeah.
Sorry, I just worded that wrong. But like, if it's coming up, then you think about the fact that that they're not going to be there because they'll be with you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, not all thoughts process, but unfortunately, most people engage in fear more than they do any other emotion, especially when it comes to manifesting, because we are aware that our thoughts create, which means we give more power to the thoughts, because we're like, "Oh God, I hope this doesn't create," which is, it's like a loop. Whereas if you don't know about the law of assumption, you're just thinking, "Oh, I'm just thinking bad things. It doesn't matter," and therefore it doesn't matter. But no, not all thoughts will process and be created outwards. It's just the ones that you apply power to and assume them to be true for you.
You believe will.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's not all thoughts. It's just the ones that you accidentally identified to be true for you, which unfortunately fear. And if you're worried about dealing with fear, go check my last video, because I definitely think it's a very helpful video for fear. it won't play out if you're not scared of it. Roger says it was earlier, now it works great. Okay, cool. Deborah says you were blurred at the beginning, now it's fine. No, you guys are clear. It's from Dev. Hi, Dev. Dusty says image looks great to me. That's good. Ricky Farr says, do you? Okay, so that's different. Okay, so yeah, it must have just been when we had that little blip where it like cut out. Ricky Farr says, do you find the opposite of what you manifest happens during the delay between manifesting and what happens in the 3D? Sometimes. Definitely sometimes. The things that I found that to be the case the most of is when I've just started manifesting and I'm doing it from lack. So there was a time when my business, um, like the coaching business, we had like a really, really dead period. I didn't get any clients for like 2 weeks, which was really strange. And I noticed it's because my attention, I was like, oh, great, we're getting clients. Now I'm thinking about potentially losing days at work and stuff, like dropping days. So I started to like really hammer in on the affirmations of, oh, I get so many clients, I get this, I get that, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that I was coming from lack. I noticed that I wasn't having enough clients to quit my job and therefore was trying to force in more clients, because even I make the same like mistake. Just because I'm on the other end of this camera doesn't mean I'm 100% perfect. And I didn't even notice for like a couple of weeks that my affirmations were never from the case of like, oh, I've got loads of clients, this is great, I'm doing what I love. It was, oh, cool, now I can quit my job, like I need these clients, I need them, I need them, I need them. And I ended up going for a period where I didn't have many clients come into me because I was in lack of clients, because I was trying to force these clients. So quite often when I've just started trying to bring something new in, I will have, or not anymore, but in the earlier periods of my journey, I would do that because I'm like, great, I can affirm for this thing, and then I would be trying to force it in by affirming, and that's usually, I think, a thing that a lot of people have dealt with in their journey, where it's like, oh, great, this new desire, let me bring it in, and then they notice the lack of the desire way more because they're trying to focus on bringing it in instead of being natural and just saying, yep, this is mine. It's all good. I got this thing. Um, there is the the thing called the purge, which I think is a Neville Goddard term, which a lot of teachers talk about, which is basically your subconscious mind flushing out all of the old stuff and basically giving you what you don't want to see if you still want it. And I try not to accept that the purge exists, because obviously, why would we want to make an assumption that it goes against us? But knowing what I know about the subconscious mind and about the conscious mind, your subconscious mind is there to keep you safe. Even if something hurts you, it's safe because it's comfortable. Think about the amount of like men and women who go, every time I seem to get into a relationship, I just seem to sabotage it and I don't know why. The reason that they're doing that is because they're scared to get hurt. And their subconscious mind would rather make themselves hurt themselves again so they don't get into a relationship and end up being hurt in the future. Because the mind, even though it's like the most powerful thing on the planet, basically doesn't understand the idea of if we change assumptions, pathways change. So it does what's familiar to it to keep it the same way, if that makes sense, to stop it from having to worry about being hurt again. So, yeah. What's up? Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it does that in order to keep yourself safe, because what the mind knows is safe is comfortable. Safe to the mind doesn't necessarily mean good or happy or bad. It just means comfortable because it knows how to deal with those situations, if that makes sense. And that could be validation for the purge, because if you think about it, if you're changing your assumptions, this is new territory. This is territory that your subconscious mind doesn't know. So then it could be potentially pushing it back out there to show you what it knows in order to see, are you sure like this is our comfortable, this is our happy place? Because your subconscious mind doesn't understand happy and sad, it just knows what you give it. That's why it gives you bad shit, you know? So that could be evidence that suggests the purge exists. Like I said, I try not to accept that a purge exists because I don't want to create the assumption of something that goes against me. But that could explain why you have opposite things happening in your 3D. Hopefully that helps and give you some ideas. Puan says, hello, sir. Man, cute couple. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. Jelani says, while manifesting Katie back, did you date other people? I did not, no. Mainly just because I was too focused on improving myself and improving like my sort of desired end. But I don't think that if I dated other people, it would have gone the way, personally. But who knows? But no, I did not date other people. I say who knows as in like if I would have created the assumption, but from a law of assumption standpoint, it doesn't make a difference. Matt Schwartz says, hi, Matt. Jordan says, I put my manifestation skills that I got into uni and I got an offer within less than a minute. That helped boost my confidence and my conscious manifestation. That's really good. Well done. You should be very proud of yourself for that. SR says, how can I manifest friends? I haven't had any friends since 2020. I think, are you the same person? I answered this. Yeah. Okay. So I gave you a bit of an answer on that. If you still need more on it, then that's absolutely fine. I can go over it again, but I've already kind of answered that question on your other comment about not having the friends. Dev says, I still don't understand the science behind affirming for SP. Okay, so you're in this bubble, yeah? In this bubble, issue without your SP. In this bubble, issue with your SP, or you where your SP would get back together. Your affirming places your consciousness into a different bubble. So you're not changing your SP in this one, you're accepting that you are this one, and your consciousness shifts into this reality in which this is already playing out. Does that make sense? It's the same with anything. I don't believe that thought transmission is a thing anymore. I used to, and obviously we all grow, we all learn, we all change. I don't believe that you affect the people in your current reality. I believe that you shift into a new one, which is already the case. So that's how. And Anne says, bro, I didn't get a notification. That's so annoying because I scheduled this like 2 hours before I even started. So I'm not sure why people aren't getting notifications. Make sure you click the little bell icon next to my name. That just might help. I don't know. M Joy says, I'm not worried about it, but if someone's SP is manifesting someone else, that SP will get their person his reality. We get them in ours. I hope I worded this clearly. I love you guys. We love you too. Thank you very much for the support. So let's say we've got over here, we've got Jerry, and over here we've got Derek. Derek are both trying to manifest me. I should have probably gone for females there, but Derek and Jerry are trying to manifest me. They both get me, assuming that they've done the work and it's like they're not, they're doing it right, let's say. They both get me, but in their own little bubbles in which I'm available to have. So they would shift into a reality where Derek gets me and Jerry gets me. They both have me, but they're not occupying the same reality in which they're occupying a reality. Sorry, they're not occupying the same reality in which they have the same version of me. They are occupying realities in which they have me in their own versions. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. They better have taken me out for dinner first. Ken Clark says, we do not move through time or space. We move through trillions of realities per second to create the illusion of physical movement. Absolutely. I do believe it is a continuous thing. I don't believe it's literally like, today I'm in this one, and then today I'm in this one. I believe it is genuinely a case of like every single time you basically blink, you are shifting into realities in which certain things, because I believe every option has its own reality. So I could turn off this live stream right now. That's one reality. I could turn it off a second later. That's another reality. I could turn around. That's another reality. I could leave the room. That's another reality. I could tell you guys that you all suck. That's a reality. I could tell you all that you're all great. That's a reality. All of those things I could literally do within the space of a second. And they are all possible outcomes that could have happened within that second. And think of the amount of billions of people on this planet. So the amount of billions of options that each person has, there are infinite realities, in my opinion. And yeah, you change through them constantly. Fandom Geek says, I have some unfortunate news. I was asking you last time regarding the affirmation being chosen and if it was universal for school, plays, and SP. Still on my bridge for SP. Didn't get a role at all. In the play, should I revise the cast list or should I just embody being a cast member and it will naturally unfold? Yeah, so it's frustrating because not like for me, but I mean as a thing in general, because you'd like to think that like you're shifting reality. Obviously, I did say that you shift realities constantly, but shifting into the one in which you want specifically might take a little bit longer. And it's frustrating because some people have come to me before and they're like, oh, well, you told me to do this and I'll get my desires. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't say when though. Like, unfortunately, I cannot say to you, this one affirmation will get you your desire within an instant because I wish it worked like that. But if we're being realistic and if we ignore the bullshit algorithm stuff that some coaches use, there are very few things that you have genuinely received instantly that are big. Things that you haven't had the attachment to, things that you haven't been like, I really want this to happen. Sure, hearing a song play on the radio, that's not big to you. Having your mum bring home pizza when you thought about pizza the same day, that's not big. But something that where genuinely you want, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't come instantly. And that's not to say that it won't. And it's not a limiting belief. It's just a case of our psychology doesn't allow us to just let go that easily, immediately. So unfortunately, using an affirmation and then not getting the results within a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, isn't that uncommon, and it is also not anything to worry about. It just means you've got to keep going. But yeah, I do get that sometimes where people come to me as clients and they're like, well, the affirmations that you gave, like I felt great, but then I didn't get my result. And it's like, that's because you're expecting your result, which is, I mean, that in itself is a lack of having the result, which is obviously a problem. But it's not, I can give you the tools and the tips, but A, I can't do the work for you. And B, I can't tell you what your reality universe does, you know? Um, oh, and as for your thing, should I revise it or embody the state? What do you think would be easier and better for you? Because I think revision is great, but I think also people do revision. People will screw themselves over with the revision quite a lot because a lot of people try to revise a situation to be the way that they want it, but they're accepting that that situation was the way that it was, which is why they're trying to revise it, which is, like I said, accepting that the situation exists for you. So you can either choose to let it go fully, but then change what happened, or you can choose to move forward. It just depends what would be easier for you. Because I know for me personally, I think revision is great, but I don't use it very much because I know that if I'm constantly trying to change something that's happened in the past, I'm just going to keep thinking about that thing that I'm trying to change, which is just keeping it in play. So for me, for that reason, revision isn't the best thing for me to use. I prefer to just move on and change the future. But it depends on what would be best for you, what you would enjoy the most. Kiati says, just wanted to say that Katie is looking pretty and the way she recorded for the personalized affirmations tape felt genuinely real. Well, I would say, I'll say thanks for Katie. I'll let her know what you said. Apparently, there's a situation. I don't know what's happening. I hope everything's okay. Um, but yeah, she is genuinely real. Like she wants the very best for everyone, and she doesn't say as much here because she doesn't have as much spirit experience. She only knows about the law of assumption from meeting me and stuff. So she hasn't got as much experience, but she does try to get involved. But she does genuinely care. She wants the very best and she wants to make sure the tapes are perfect. That's why sometimes it takes a little while for the tapes to come through because there'll be times when she's recorded it and it's not quite been right and we've had to re-record it and but yeah, she genuinely does want the very best for everyone and she loves doing the tapes and she loves doing the vision boards as well, which we get a lot of good feedback on. AH says, is it easy to manifest multiple things like SP career success? Yes, it is because you're already manifesting those things anyway. You create everything in your life. So your career the way it is now, your SP the way it is now, and your success the way it is now has all been manifested to by you prior. So the only thing that you've got to do is anytime these things come to mind, just think of them being the way that you want them to be. So SP, what kind of relationship do you have? Career, what kind of career are you doing? Success, what does it mean to you to be successful? Then whenever you think about these topics, redirect your focus to that already being the case for you. Missy B says, now you're a robot. I guess it's my connection, lol. Oh, yeah, the connection issues. Phantom Geek says, don't know if you'll see this in time to fix the issue, but the audio is going in and out and staticky at around the time you're discussing Andrew Tate. Oh, Jesus. Could you imagine if I get shut down because I mentioned Andrew Tate? No, I think it's the internet. I do apologize if this stream isn't ideal because of the internet. It's such a shame, but yeah, being up north is not a good place for the connection. So I do really apologize. Anand says, is the audio glitchy for everyone? SR says, yes, same audio glitch. Phantom Geek, oh no, you're frozen now. Roger says, so basically when we try to get rid of the third party, we basically switch to different reality where our SP is with us and not the third party. Yes, exactly. I don't believe that you are removing the third party. I believe that the third party stays with your person in that reality and you just shift to one where you're with your third party, which is amazing for the idea of feeling guilty and feeling the idea of free will because you're not forcing them to do anything. You're just shifting to a place where it is already the case. So that's why I don't think you should have any guilt. Glitchy here too, not much just mine there. Now it's okay. Audio's breaking, fixed now. Yeah, fixed again. But I thought Katie was holding a really hairy pet. Nah, it's just a pillow. Okay, so yeah, hopefully it's all back to normal. Apologies for the poor audio, poor visuals. Next week we'll be back home and it'll be back to normal. So hopefully you can stick it out through the rest of this live stream. Ria says, what does SP feel while manifesting them? So SP will feel whatever it is that you're putting out there because you're shifting to a reality which is already the case. So if you're switching to a reality in which you're loving, passionate, committed relationships, you'll shift into a reality where something happens to get you to that point. So you'll shift into realities where you might end up in contact and then dates, and then eventually you'll end up getting with them. So your SP will feel some form of pull in order to go and do something and be somewhere. Or it depends how far you are in your manifestation journey. If you're in no contact, it'll be like that. If you're together, they'll just start to feel more and more like that's the case, that they're in this loving committed relationship with you, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest into your life. Rajat, what if my SP thinks she is destined to be with someone else and not with me? Doesn't matter. That version of her might end up being with that person, but you will shift into reality in which you are with a person that does want to be with you, like the version of her that wants to be with you. Anything that is said and done does not matter. Unless it's a death, nothing matters, because you will shift into reality in which is already the case, that you're with them. So even if she thinks she's destined to be with someone else, that version of her might actually just be destined to be with someone else, but you're destined to be with the version that you continuously focus on being with. You will then shift into a reality in which that is already the case or becoming the case, and then you'll obviously have your relationship. Priyal says, "You guys are so good. Thank you for responding to all our comments. You are very welcome. We love being here. I don't know what's gone on, but it's a shame Katie can't come back for the moment. Hopefully, it's nothing to do with the kids." Uh, Dev says, "Rajat, she doesn't have free will." Exactly. Fandom Geek says, "Entries not including this stream upload later on. 122 entries. Bloody hell, that's a whole lot of entries. I'll be if you don't win. Oh, I'd feel so bad. I feel like I'd actually just give you a bloody. If you didn't win, I feel like I'd just give you one for free because like some coaching or something. Because that would be ridiculous if you had 122 entries and didn't win." Dev says, what she does doesn't matter. And then also, what you affirm matters. If you believe that she is yours, then she is yours. And then Roy says, "God damn fandom. I'll get the grinding comments after the stream too." You guys are going to blow my. I'm going to wake up tomorrow with like 5,000 subscribers because you've pushed the algorithm on every single video that I have. Um, Shannon says, "If you do get your SP back, is it wrong to tell them you manifested them back or like break the fourth wall?" No, not at all. Katie knows that I manifested her back. She literally talks about it in the stream, and you can see that she's perfectly fine with it. So it's really not a problem. Just don't assume it'll be a problem. If you make that assumption, then it will be. But no, it doesn't matter. Dev says, "I mean, why do you want to tell them?" Some people just like to be like, "Oh, by the way, this is what I've been doing, or this is something that I found. We can do it together." I know that's kind of what I was. I was like, "Oh, Katie, like this is really funny because I was thinking of this, and this, and then you come and said this, and this." So everyone has their preferences. Vidhi says, "What's the best way to speed up your appearance changes?" First thing, stop trying to speed them up. Because if you're trying to speed them up, you're accepting that they aren't the way that you want them to be already, which is just staying in lack of not having. And second thing, just don't let yourself have other thoughts about it. So if you ever look in your mirror and like I don't know, your lips are too small, for example, whenever you look in a mirror, just be like, "Oh wow, my lips are so big, they're so nice, they're so whatever it is that you want." Because your submind doesn't have eyes, all it knows is that what you tell it. So if you tell it that, then it has nothing to do but to believe that. And the more that you repeat that to it, and the more that you accept that that's the case and not the undesirable side of yourself, then the more that will have to just take and push out. Ashley Lewis says, "Tip to manifest an incredibly remote working home job. Tip to manifest a incredible remote work from home job." So the first thing about jobs is, well, the first thing about anything, and jobs is just especially the same. Get clear on what you want. So you want remote? What kind of money do you want? What kind of job do you want? Is there a specific role, specific company? Is there a specific work schedule? Get clear on all those kind of things, and then create scenes that imply you already have this job. So it could be you working from home. Like you could be sat at your desk visualizing you could be visualizing yourself sat at your desk working for this job. You could be saying to your friend on the phone like, "Oh, it's amazing that I work fully from home and I still earn this amount." You could be affirming something like, "I have the most amazing, well-paying, fully remote job." You just create scenes that imply you already have this thing, and then you redirect your focus to already having this thing or this job. Ria says, "Is divine timing real?" I don't believe it is. I believe that from the point of impressing the submind. Everything okay? Oh, really? That bad? Oh, bloody hell. I. So I've been thrown off a little bit.
Sorry.
It's right. I believe that from the point of impressing the submind. Sorry, I've been really thrown off. So it takes there is no divine timing. It, from however long it takes to start to impress your subconscious is obviously up to how well you're able to stay in the new state. From there is a case of things working to get you there. The universe puts it in the most perfect and quickest way that it can possibly be done, but uh, there is no such thing as divine timing. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, sorry guys. Something really big has just come up and I have to end this stream like right now, basically. If you have any questions, just put them in the stream when it goes live. Really sorry, but something really, really big has come up. So I do apologize, but I'm gonna have to go. So I will catch you all later. Bye bye.